this thing acting up? All right. Hey, Ross World, my money makes money. Excuse me for the brightness here. I'm just trying to record on this new DJI Osmo Pocket. The first one I had, I was really excited to use it, but it wouldn't take no SD card for me to do 1080p or 4K. Okay, so they sent me out another one. I don't know if it's new or refurbished, but nevertheless, it works. And then you see that I'm getting blurred out with the sun. I need some polarizing lenses. Money talks. Money talks. So right now, I'm in this park. If you can look around here, it's a huge park. It's pretty sunny out. I'm going to need some polarizing lenses, I see. But once we get up in the shade over here, we're going to have a talk. Me and you and I. Because I'm not flawless. I'm not perfect. See, the people that give you information, the people that entertain you, the people that talk to you, the people that you look up to, they are human, and so am I. All right, let me get up here and I'll talk to you guys. Hey, you want to go on a little small jog with me? Now, I have bad knees. I'm supposed to be running, but I think I'm going to run about 10 steps, and I'm going to let you look at what I'm running into. Very, very beautiful. Hopefully the sun doesn't shine everything away. All right, so I took a little jog, but let's get back on this money talks, right? Why is this thing doing this? I have no idea. All right, there we go. Anyway, I'm learning a new piece of equipment, DJI Osmo Pocket. But anyway, that ain't about that, right? Money talks. Let's talk about randomly things about money. I'm gonna stop because there's a lot of sun out here, and I just want to talk to you guys face to face. If you notice, I got a tan. I got a tan, guys. It's a joke. I already been tan, plus 10 or so. But here's the thing, guys. When we talk about this money thing, we really need to understand. And if you see me look down, I'm looking at myself, making sure I'm centered so you guys hear everything I'm talking about. When I look at the gym, right? This is the gym out here, right? It's a path, as you can tell behind me. You can run, you can squat, you can do push-ups. And some people are like, oh, I need this machine, I need that machine. Let me tell you something. If you have a lot of debt and you can't afford the gym, then you can't afford the gym. What I mean is that if you have debt where you're going to the gym, you're paying for your bills, you're paying for electricity, all those bills, right? I'm not gonna go through it all in detail like I usually do. You might have to cut some expenses out because you don't need the gym, you want the gym. We heard of this talk from me before where I talk about need versus want, because your body is the gym. The outside is your gym, right? And your body could be whatever you want it to be. Like me, before I had my shoulder surgery, and if you notice, I haven't really been releasing a lot of things lately. I had to build some things up in my archive to release it later. It's because I had shoulder surgery. I had a bicep tendinosis and labrum repair, and that's probably because of years of working out, playing football, basketball, mostly coaching with basketball. I don't have a body of a football player. I mean, I don't have a body of a basketball player at all. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is there's so many expenses in your life that I promise you, if you can sit down, I tell most people, I can free up $100. And there's very few people that I can free up $100 because they have amounted to so much debt in their life that it's hard for me to free up any money in their budget, right? And I talk to my friends all the time about creating a budget, and believe it or not, it's hard. How am I to help you to create a budget? How am I to help you with your finances if you don't create a budget? Like, I'm going to use my time, I'm gonna use my knowledge, I'm going to use my senses to help you do better with your finances, but you don't want to do anything for yourself. A buddy of mine, and I won't say his name, but if he sees this video, then he know who I'm talking about. He said, hey man, tell me about some of this money stuff. That's exactly kind of how he said it. And I'm like, well, what are you trying to do? And he said, oh, and he was texting me through Facebook Messenger. He was like, oh man, don't give me none of that pyramid scheme stuff. I said, pyramid scheme stuff? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Have you seen my channel? My channel's been up for 3 years. He's never even been on my channel. I've never talked about making money I've never talked about making money off of someone, right? I teach people how to make money off themselves and other avenues. And also, most importantly, right, because this year is talking about debt, we switched it, remember? How to get out of debt, how to save and invest. We're talking about the 4 tiers of money. I haven't said that in a while, but we're still talking about the 4 tiers of money when it's getting out of debt, creating a budget, saving and investing, and then you have credit that encompasses, okay, it's in that order, that yin yang. We have a good balance of our finances. Because even though I don't believe in debt, I kind of going the way to Dave Ramsey. Sometimes you can use debt to boost yourself into a different position without putting yourself in debt, because other things just takes too much time to build up. So sometimes you might have to go get business loans. I'm still on that particular wavelength. But nonetheless, what we need to understand is this. There's so many avenues of expenses, right? We talked about the gym, and I'm not going to go into detail about that. You can use the outdoors, you can use your apartment, you can use your house, you can use a room, and you can save money using, by the way, there's plenty of workouts online, circuit, just like, what's that dude's name who did Insanity? It was no weights. It was just all your body, and people got in great shape. You just got to keep it up, right? So you don't need a gym. People use gyms and workout groups and stuff as support, right? Sometimes you just need support, people say. Now, from my experience, these are very pertinent things for your life, so you can understand the things that you may go through when it comes to your finances. Because if you're a single person and you're out here dating, then you have to factor that into your budget. But you also have to let the person that you're dating understand what you're doing. And they may even get a little personal into your finances to say, well, are you in debt? Are you, and some people may even ask your credit score. Here's the thing, guys and gals, do not be afraid to tell people where you are financially. Don't be afraid of it. I tell people all the time, my credit score is 740. My credit score is 750. It's somewhere in between there. Oh, but you teach people about finances. Why it's not 800? No one has never said that, because I really don't care. You know my credit score. You're going to do what with that? I'll wait for it. What you going to do with my credit score? Okay. There's nothing you can do. Some people say, well, with more information, you can do more. And you're absolutely correct. So most people you're dating, they know what? Your full name. They know your date of birth, and then they know your credit score. Then I would tell you, don't give them your social security number until you guys are married. Because that with all that information, people can do some things in your background, even, but here's the thing. I don't want to ramble because I know I'm rambling. Be respectful of one another. Be straightforward with one another, and let people know where you are financially, so they don't expect, right? The worst thing that people can have is expectations, because when your budget open up the next month, you take her to this most glorious restaurant, right? You take her to this glorious restaurant. She's like, oh girl, he took me to this 4-star, 5-star restaurant. I don't know how much you paid, but I knew it was expensive and I just loved it. And I just can't wait till he takes me out again. He may be doing quite well for himself, but that doesn't mean that he can continue to take you out to expensive events. And some of you are saying, well, I don't need that all the time, or I don't even want that all the time. don't get sidetracked from the message, because I see people do that a lot, right? The message is, let people know where you are financially, guys and girls, right? Or men and women. Let them know where you are financially. And here's another tip, ladies, and I know for me, and I'm only speaking from my perspective and a few other guys I know. If you call me up, if you text me and you say, hey, let's go to dinner, let's go bowling, let's go to the movies, I'm letting you know right now, I'm expecting you to pay, right? Because when I invite you out somewhere on a date, I'm going to call you, I'm going to text you, and I'm going to let you know that this is a date. I'm not going to invite you out on a date and then expect for you to pay. But I've been invited out on dates, right? And I was expected to pay, which was ludicrous to me. And we're sitting there at the dinner table. She's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I was like, well, you ready to go? And I slid because the bill was in the middle. You know, they hide the receipt like it's some sort of secret. Ain't no secret. Somebody got to pay this bill. She's like, well, I thought you was going to pay. I said, well, sweetheart, I thought you was going to pay. You invited me out. Well, I'm a lady, and the man, let's not go there. Let's not go there. So what I did was I paid the bill. I wanted us to split the bill. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I just want to split the bill because I was like, I felt like, so anytime you want to go out, you're gonna ask me and I'm gonna pay. I felt bamboozled a little bit. I'm just being real with you guys, but it's something that I should have spoke about prior, right? That's what some of you are saying. Exactly. So I paid or whatever, but it never happened again. I can tell you that. So when the female asked me out, I asked her a couple of questions, because even though they don't ask us our budget, I like to know their budget. So I'm not asking them to do something outside of their budget. So when the bill comes, they're like, oh my God, I was not expecting this, right? Moving right along, money talks, money talks. I released a video that's catching fire right now, slowly, but it's still catching fire, about stop giving family all your money. And some of you, very few of you, are taking it the wrong way. Basically what I'm saying is, those people who are using you, those people who are asking money, those people who feel entitled, those are the ones I'm referring to, guys. Not family members or mothers and fathers who aren't able, who are incapable of work and creating their own income, right? Because that would just be heinous of me to say, leave your parents high and dry, because they didn't do the right thing with their finances. And now that you've learned how to do your finances, leave them high and dry. Come on, let's be realistic here. Let's stop being ridiculous. Okay, guys, I'm not upset at anyone. I'm just speaking in that manner because I'm not telling you to do anything inhumanely. I want you to better yourself, right? And if your mother or father are, incapable or unable to take care of themselves financially, then yes, you should help them out, right? And I don't want to use should as a defensive word in a matter that you should. Do as you can, right? Do as you can. But if they're able and they're capable and they work jobs, then my stance on it, my thoughts in it, teach them how to budget, teach them how to save. Because here's the thing, it's kind of like crack cocaine, right? You give them crack, they're going to come back. You give them crack, they're going to come back. And that's what money is. Crack is money. You give them money and they're going to come back, right? Use the term, the old wisdom term, you lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. But a better one is, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach them how to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. So you teach them how to budget their income after taxes. You teach them how to lower their debt using the debt snowball method. You teach them how to save high yield savings accounts. And eventually they get to the point where they can invest, and they invest. Because you don't want to keep killing your income. You don't want to keep killing your revenue, paying out to your parents or your family members when they have a job and they're just not managing their money right. They need to learn how to manage their money, and there's many apps and applications and pieces of papers and pens that you can use to help them budget their money. And that is what I'm talking about. Help them budget their money. Now, if they're sickly, elderly, and they don't have the money, then do as you can. And that simply means whatever means that you can help them, then help them. Now, if you have an estranged mother or an estranged father who all of a sudden popped into your life, now they need money, I'm just going to leave that one on you, right? So these some areas that we really need to think about. And another one I want to hop on really quickly is fashion. Clothes, right? I don't go to name brand stores. I go to, well, I guess they name brand, they have a name, right? Go figure. I go to places like Ross, go figure, Burlington Coat Factory, Marshalls, and Kohl's, right? And in those places, guess where I go? I go to the clearance rack, right? I don't know where I got this shirt from. Yeah, I don't know where I got this shirt from. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of us like to look nice, and certain shorts, shirts, pants, slacks, suits, dress suits, whether it be male or female suits, business casual. There's so many pieces of clothing, I can't name them all, but you can find a lot of those clothing at these discounted stores, even name brand. So don't think that you can't look nice. You might just have to buy something that's not in season, right? The best time to buy shorts is in the winter if they left them out on the rack. And I've done that plenty of times. The best time to buy winter clothes is when summer or spring is about to hit. And one of my favorite stores that I haven't been in a long time, I actually need to go, is Aeropostale. They always have some sort of deals, and they have coupons online. That's just an example. Look out for your favorite store and see when they have these blowout deals or these season changing deals. We want to look nice, and we can look nice. Make a budget for it, right? I haven't been shopping for clothing in about 3 months. But I tell you this, I put a little money to the side. I'm gonna buy me 2 pairs of jeans. I'm going to buy me 2 t-shirts or 2, collar shirts or whatever. I'm gonna buy 2 clothing items, and if I can have enough money, I'm gonna buy one of them shoes they have off the rack. And some of you are like, shoes off the rack? Look, they have some really good shoes off the rack, and they're brand new. They have shoes off the rack and they're brand new. So whatever tickles your fancy, guy. And I know we all have different styles, but if you have an expensive clothing style and you live in a low impoverished area or the ghetto or the slums or the trailer park, however you want to label that area, or a least desirable neighborhood that you want to move out of, you have to make sacrifices. You have to make sacrifices. And in the way you make sacrifices in everything that you love, that's Starbucks coffee, that's Seattle's best, what else they got, Dunkin' Donuts, and all those extra curricular expenses. That's what they are, extracurricular expenses. You don't need them. You want them. And some of you are like, well, I won't be able to live my life, and I don't live by a budget. It's like, Jill, a budget, I keep telling people, a budget is freedom. It tells you what you can and cannot do. Like the laws of the land. The laws of the land tells you what you can and cannot do, right? So you have to follow that. And the more laws you know not to do, the freer you are to do whatever else you want to do. And that's what a budget lets you know what you can and cannot do, guys. So you need a budget. So when you look at your budget at the end of the week, you say, okay, I can get that coffee on Tuesday and Thursday, but I can't get it on Monday through Friday. And I want you guys to free yourself and free your mind of what life is really about. I'm going to have a guest on here pretty soon, next week or two. His name is Stephen Gardner. He's a certified financial advisor. I am also going to interview a high school friend that I grew up with. His name is Keith Wall. He's an intelligent, brilliant guy. And I'm gonna let him talk to you guys on some really deep, dark money issues, and let him explain his background, where he comes from, and just the way he thinks about things. So look out for those videos with Stephen Gardner, who's a certified financial advisor. I'm also gonna break that into a podcast, so in case you want to listen to it on your way to work. And also Keith Wall. We're just gonna call it Deep Dark Money Matters, right? And what we have to understand is that money is scalable in so many ways, right? Whether it be online, in your personal investments, in high yield savings, and even dealing with your credit range and your credit score. If you don't understand money, then you don't understand economics. If you don't understand economics, then you don't understand the world, right? There's a lot of things in this world that we can put our focus on. And I talked about Keith today. He's focused on some racial things. I'm more focused on some money things. And I told him, Keith, I can't dabble in your arena. I believe when you have your focus set on one thing, you become very well at that one thing. But when you get too majors. Like people like I got a double major. Some people can do that. I can't have a double major. I had a major and I had a minor, right? Because the minor, there's a couple of classes that I took to say, hey, you know, I minored in internet business or something like that. But I had to stick with something that I can keep giving you guys fresh information from a different perspective. Sometimes the same information from a different perspective that I'm passionate about. Because when you create things for people and for them to listen to you and gain knowledge or a different way of thinking about something, it's better when you're passionate about, because they can feel that passion, right? They can feel that passion. But when you have your head in too many cookie jars, then people are like, well, I mean, where are you going with this? I mean, you over here, you over there. And I had to learn that the hard way, because Ross World first started off as a multi-session channel where I had different sessions about different topics, and I had to pick something that I was the most passionate about, and it's always been money. So, and I think teaching money to people helps my perspective of the way when people respond and comment to me about particular things. And I love your responses. None of your responses really get me upset. But even though sometimes people try to troll me, and that's fine. I mean, if you're a troll, then do your trolling. I'm going to respond to you nonetheless. And I may engage in some conversations, or I might just give a quick comment and leave it as that, right? Because I can learn something from your trolling. Some people don't understand that. Yes, you can learn things from negative comments. Now, if somebody just kind of gives like a short 1 or 2 word comment about whatever it may be, then I may not learn that from that. But when somebody gives me like a whole paragraph about, hey, the way you're thinking about this is messed up, is jacked up, because you should do this and you should do that, and I believe this and I believe that, I try to look at it from their perspective, or the angle in which they're trying to articulate their thoughts. And what I do is, if they're on track in controversy or contradiction of what the message I'm getting out, then I let them know. Or I say, oh, well, you know what? I'm actually saying what you're saying, but I'm saying it in a different way because we think differently, but let me put you back on the right track. Let me get things into perspective. And those are just things, guys, that we have to look out for when we're trying to get into these conversations about certain topics when it comes to money, finances. And I want to reiterate this again. Don't be afraid to tell people about your finances. If you have a 600 credit score, some of you will be embarrassed to tell people. I used to have a 600 credit score and I wasn't embarrassed to tell anybody. Because guess what? If they want you and you tell them, here are my goals and aspirations and this is what I plan on doing, then if they don't want to follow you down that path, don't let them follow you, because they were never meant for you, right? They were never meant for you in the first place. But if they were meant for you and you tell them that, and they say, well, what are you doing to increase your credit score or help your finances? And you lay out your plan, they either going to rock with you or not. And if they rock with you, then those are the people that you want to be with. If they don't want to rock with you, they want to judge you about something that's in your past that you're trying to help that you probably didn't have any knowledge about, then those are the people that you don't need to rock with. How you doing? And so you want to get those people out of your arena, out of your area, out of your environment, because they're going to suck up your positive energy, okay? You don't want anyone sucking up your positive energy. If you're around people, and here's another topic for you guys, if you're around people who always speak negatively, right? They always speak negatively, then you don't need to be around those people. Because when they speaking negatively about every single thing, even money, oh no, man, I just do what I gotta do. I don't care about all that. Shoot, they told me I owe them money. No. You're trying to get your life together. They're going to infect your brain. It's, some people with negative energy, they're like diseases, right? Because once you hear them talking and you're like, oh, yeah, that makes a good point, but it's like something that you really never thought about, and you know that it's not something you want to actually do. You take that negativity, right? You take that negative information back home, and now you are infected by it. So I urge you to let those negative people go. Let those negative people go outside of your life, because what they're going to do for you, they're going to affect your mind and bring you down. All right, I'm off of it, right? Because we're talking about money talks, right? Money talks. And I'm up here rambling on different subjects about money. And let's get into one of the closest things and near to my heart. That's saving and investing. how your savings. Right now, I transfer all my money, and some of you are looking at my older videos, which I love. Keep it up. Watch my videos with Ally and what's the other one? Oh, Goldman and Sachs, right? I talked about those, but I told you, I don't have loyalty to banks. My money, all my money right now, all the 3 pennies I have, they're inside of Banesco USA. That's BANESCO USA. Right now, they're giving, what was it, 2.47%. And yes, there are some other ones out there that gives you a bit more, but they don't require a minimum balance, right? Or if the balance is 100 or less. Some of those who offer like 3%, they're asking you for $5,000, they're asking you for $10,000. If you don't have that amount of money, then those banks are not for you. Now, if you have $10,000 and they're offering $3,000, then read the fine print, because sometimes they say, well, if you go below $10,000 or $5,000, then we no longer can offer you 3%, we're gonna offer you 1%. So you have to figure out what you wanna do with that. And some credit unions offer great rates, so look at your credit unions as well. But the bank I'm with now is Banesco USA. Really good bank, 2.47%. You have Value Bank, Tab Bank, and some other ones. Moving right along. I tell you something else I did. A while back in one of my videos, I let you guys know that I pulled away from Acorns. That was, well, about a year ago. I pulled away from Acorns because I didn't like the transparency. There was none. They just let you know that you're investing your money aggressively, moderately, conservatively, conservatively moderate or something like that. They have some sort of combinations. So I backed out of that. And I started heavily investing into Robinhood and Stash, and then quite recently I opened up an M1 account. But to be very, very honest and very, very open, I literally did a account transfer from Stash and Robinhood into Vanguard. Yes, Vanguard, if you don't know, is a investing giant. They are an investing giant. Peace goes out to John Bogle. He just died this year. He was the founder and owner of Vanguard. He died early this year, if I can recall, but I know he did pass away, John Bogle. I think he was 97 years old. And the organization that he built is 5.3 trillion. That's how much it's worth, 5.3 trillion. Now, last year or about 2 years ago, it was worth 4 trillion. So they continually to grow. And the cool thing about Vanguard, they do index and ETFs, and the expense ratios, the amount of money, kind of the management fee, because these funds that you invest in through Vanguard are mostly their ETFs and index funds. So their expense ratios are low, right? A couple of the ones that I have just right off the top of my mind are VOO, VTI, and there's another one, but one of them tracks the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in the US, and then the other one tracks all 3,600 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. I forgot. But some of you can look this up and get this information. It's right off the top of my mind, guys. So sorry I don't have the information in detail. But nonetheless, I put all that money in there. Now, granted, because I work for the federal government, I still have money in my TSP. Now, whenever I stop dealing with them, I'm going to transfer all that money into Vanguard. And some of you don't like using the term, don't have your eggs all in one basket. Let's talk about that really quickly. What that means is I invested all my $10,000 into Apple. And when you're talking about all your eggs in one basket, it simply doesn't mean that per se. It means that you are investing all of your money into one stock instead of investing your money into multiple stocks or multiple ETFs or multiple index. So if you have $50,000 and you invest that money inside of Apple or Microsoft or a company or stock like that, then yes, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. But if you are putting your money within the same investment company like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, BlackRock, Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, M1 Finance, so on and so forth, that's totally different, right? Because these are just entities. These are middlemen for you to reach the stock market, right? When we get to the stock market, you don't want to invest all your money into just one ETFs. Like if you're on Stash, you have the American Innovators. But I would do the American Innovators, and I would do the robots, and I would do the construction, I would do the bonds. Diversify your money in that particular way. You can stay with one company. You don't have to do Stash, Robinhood, M1 Finance. You don't have to do all those. And here's another thing, right? Stash costs you a little bit of money. It costs you $1 a month. Then it costs you, once your account reach over $5,000, it costs you 0.25%. It costs you 0.25% to hold that account. M1 Finance is totally free. Everything within inside of it is totally free. But when I looked at an update and I got that information from either Nerd Wallet or Investor Junkie, they will start having some paid subscriptions inside of their services. So watch out for those fees. But nonetheless, M1 Finance is totally free. And if you're doing individual stocks and ETFs and index through Robinhood, then that is also free. But if you start getting involved with Robinhood Gold, those have fees because they're just loaning you money to invest. On Robinhood, if you see an ETF in there, you have to, I repeat, you have to pay for it outright. Where Stash, M1 Finance, you can do it in fractional shares, right? Or meaning that if the only thing you have is $5 with Stash, you can buy that ETFs and put $5 and $5 and $5 and $5. But if you take that ticker, right, because with each Stash ETF, they'll give you like American Innovators, right? But then if you scroll down and say the ticker, and they'll give you a 3-digit code or a 3-digit symbol, right? And you go into Robinhood, you type that out, like, oh, that's $169 for one. But you was only doing $5 because you was investing in micro, you was investing into fractional shares. But with Robinhood, you have to pay for that ETF outright. Because if you look at the number of shares you look at on Stash, you'll say 0.8 whatever. That means because you haven't reached one share yet. Now, once you get a 1 or 2, consecutively after the decimal or after the period, that tells you how many shares of that stock you have. But if you had 0.0 whatever, you don't have one share yet. Only when you see 1 point something, you have a share or more, whatever that first number is. That is with Stash. But with Robinhood, $169 ETF, you're gonna pay $169. But with Stash, you have to at least invest $5, which is cool because if you don't have a lot of money to invest, like $25, what I always say, then that is where you want to go. Same thing with M1 Finance. Now, the reason why I like putting out Stash is because if you invite friends to Stash, they give you $5. It gives your friends $5. And if you look at something in the description of my videos, it gives me $5 too. But with M1 Finance, they have plenty of pre-made pies for you to go through, and you can pick one, but I'll just say that going through their interface is clunky. But anyway, I want to end it right here, guys. I felt like I was rambling too much, but hopefully you got some information. Hopefully you got inside my mind. Look out for those 2 interviews with Stephen Gardner, Certified Financial Advisor, and then Keith Wall, Deep Dark Money Matters, coming up in the next month or so. I just got to get things right, some compatibility issues with technology, of course. So anyway, this is Ross World. Learn money and be inspired. I'm out.